We are Smooth Jazz Notes, and we're here at the Catalina Jazz Festival with Gregg Hudson. So, tell us exactly what your job here is.
Well, my title is production manager, which entails basically putting the whole show together. The promoter books all the talent and buys the talent and does all the contracts, all that good stuff, but it's my job to execute it. So I deal with all the artists, make sure I have all their tech specs. I work with the sound company, the lighting company, make sure they're hired and they're supplying our needs to have the event. I deal with the venue make sure we're following house rules and the fire department's rules and so forth, so on. But all those lovely things.
And how long have you been with the Jazztrax?
I've lost track. I think 12 years. I think. Don't even remember anymore.
And how did you meet Art Good?
I believe I came to this gig in particular through my predecessors. I believe John Rosenberg or Tony Shondell, good friends of mine. They had my position prior to me, both of them, and I think that's how I came to the job. And when they vacated, they shoved me in it.
And when you're not doing the Jazztrax, what are you doing?
I tour with some of our lovely smooth jazz friends. I've toured with Peter White. I started with Rick Braun and Richard Elliott. I currently do Norman Brown, Kyle Eastwood, numerous ones. They all run together after a while. This year I've spent touring with Diana Ross. And as soon as this event ends, I go back out with her for a couple of weeks. I also own a backline company at home, which we supply all the gear for tours and the festivals and so forth.
And when you say you tour with someone, what is your job there?
I am generally tour manager and sound engineer on most of these shows. Yes.
So how long have you been doing this job?
About 20 years already. Time went by fast. I've been having fun doing it. It's a great job. I love what I do. I love working with the artists, and I can say a fair amount of them I know on a very personal level.
And how did you learn about this job?
I came from music. My father was a musician, so I've been around it all my life. And it's always been a passion of mine. I played when I was younger, played a little bit. But I started just as a stagehand, just working on shows. I introduced myself to a promoter and said, hey, I want to work on your show. And he said, well, come on, I got a job for you. And things just progressed over time. I went to school for engineering, and one thing led to another. Steve Chapman met me at a festival and he says, hey, I like the way you take care of my guys when they're on your shows, so forth, so on. Asked me if I wanted to be a tour manager. I'm like, okay. So one thing led to another. I ended up being a tour manager for a lot of his artists.
And as a tour manager, what is your job?
Cat wrangler, as I always say. That means that musicians can be interesting. You get this little group together to get on the bus or get on the plane, and then one disappears, and you go get that one, and then that group, you get back to the rest of the group, and they're gone. So it's like trying to round up cats. But yes, it's a lot of adult daycare sometimes, in a good way. But yes, it's a lot of adult daycare. You're dealing with personalities. You're dealing with everything. You're dealing with promoters, and some, and not all of them are good. Not all the promoters are good. So you kind of have issues there. Sometimes they're not taking care of your artists when you arrive. A lot of things are not attended to, so you have to deal with those issues.
In the venues.
You're dealing with their managers, because it runs the gamut. It runs the gamut what you're dealing with on these shows, and you just have to have a good sense of humor and be long-suffering. Yes.
So when you're not working in the music industry, what are you doing?
Well, I had a long career as a computer programmer. My job 4 years ago, and so I just said, screw it, I'm gonna do music full time. And it's I've been very fortunate and blessed that I can make a good living and do what I want to do.
Well, we know you have a family and you
Yes.
live here in Southern California. Can you tell us a little bit about your family?
I have 2 boys, crazy boys. As I'm sure you're well aware that boys can be a handful.
Yes.
No, they're great. They're great. Their wife. I think they might go down the music path a little bit. They're kind of interested in piano and guitar, so we'll see where that goes. Yep.
And your wife, does she work?
Yes, she's a marketing director for a large automotive company.
Oh, good. So is there anything else you'd like to add to in our conversation here on this beautiful island?
It's a great destination. It is a destination when you come to this festival. It's you have, for a lot of people, they have to get their plane. It's planes, trains, and automobiles, and a boat to get here. in most cases. So you have to be prepared for that. It's truly a destination, and it's a beautiful destination. It's not a bad place to wake up to go to work. I must say, when I do this 3 weeks every year, it's a long 3 weeks, but it's also an enjoyable 3 weeks.
Do you stay on the island the whole 3 weeks?
I go home on the Sunday night boat and come back Thursdays every week. And then Monday we'll pack the container and be done.
And do you bring your family over?
They haven't come in the last couple of years, but yes, they have come to visit me while I'm working, yes.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us, Gregg. And we look forward to the last weekend at the Jazztrax. We're so excited.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.